All right, everybody, welcome back to Cool's Reviews. If you saw what we've been doing lately, it's a lot of stuff. So, be it movie reviews and deep dives and interviews, but we hope you guys have been entertained, to say the least. This week we are doing a Cool's Reviews, just a regular review. We are working on some more deep dives, so just stay tuned. We got some more fun ones for you. But today we're talking about one that we've kind of teased on the channel before, and that is Billie the Kid, female Billie the Kid, Billie, or Billie the Kid, Vampires of the West. It's a 2022 film that it's something that is
Top tier movie.
I don't know about that. Dracula versus Billie the Kid might be better, in my opinion.
I would disagree.
All right, so before we get to comparisons, Sam, obviously this is the first time you've watched this. How are
Mhm.
you feeling after?
They had me watch Django, and this is by far a lot better.
Sam spitting hot takes.
Constant. Nah, I thought it was. I looked at some of the comments. People were like hating on it, but it honestly was not that bad.
Yeah, there's parts for
I
me
think people are
this
hating on it because it's a female protagonist mostly.
see there's parts of it for me that aren't bad, and then there's parts of it that I was like it was dragging. It was so long in parts, and I was just like, at least, and maybe because we watched Dracula versus Billy the Kid together, so we could like talk about it. Maybe that's why that one felt like it actually went by decent. But
Commentary.
yeah, yeah, when you're able to commentary bad films such as like American Ghost Hunter, what are some of the other ones we did? Obviously, Billy the Kid, Dracula. No, but when you're able to commentary those bad movies, it makes it fun. It's kind of those movies that are so bad. This one's not one of those that are so bad it's good. This is not Tammy the T-Rex level. Like that is a different tier.
Well, I mean, yeah, because that was slightly more modern times, and this is a western.
I mean, but that's an older movie. Tammy the T-Rex is older, and I thought it was
Yeah.
better. Yeah. So for those of you who have never even heard of this movie, you guys should go watch some of our other videos, like our Billy the Kid bracket, because we mentioned it. So go watch that link above. But this movie is a you can't even say retelling of the Billy the Kid legend outside of the protagonist name is Billy. That's about all that. I mean, there's no, there's that's about it. It takes place in the Old West, I guess. It really kind of takes place in modern day Old West at the same time. It's weird.
What?
But we'll get to it. We'll get to it because there was parts of it, and I was just like, I can't unsee there. We'll get to that part. But yeah, they Billy and her riding companion Kansas go into a town, quickly get captured, put in jail, and then there's some bounties, and the sheriff kind of gets talked into letting Billy go with them, and it turns out it's vampires, and there's vampires throughout. They make multiple kills. So if you're looking for vampire kills, you'll at least find those in this movie. My favorite actor was probably from the vampire side, to be fair. We'll get to acting in a second, but yeah, I thought the best one was from our lead villain, James. I thought he did really good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just Billy the Kid versus vampires, which is a whole subgenre we didn't even know existed because there's so many of these movies that we keep finding more and more, and it's just like, why? But yeah, we've previously talked about Billy the Kid versus Dracula, which I think is the one everyone kind of knows about. That I guess you could kind of consider so bad it's good because there's definitely parts we laughed in that movie. I didn't find myself that entertained here, but there was some decent cinematography. I think sound was probably one of my biggest issues. Just audio was very low at times and it was kind of hard to hear.
I didn't have a problem with that.
Really?
Yeah, like it was fine for me.
Yeah, no, there was parts they were talking, it was like really quiet. But yeah, Sam, we'll turn it over to you. What are your kind of thoughts on the plot of the movie, I suppose?
It was definitely kind of interesting. The beginning part where they were going into town, like it was obviously a bad idea. Actress who was playing Billy was just like, "That's not smart to do," and they're just like, "Yeah, it's fine." But like the free person said it was fine. That no one will recognize you. It's just like, okay, understand how that kind of kind of works, but nah. I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
It was interesting to. I mean, it's something we can now say we've watched in our endless crusade to be completionists on things that maybe we don't need to be completionists on. But
I
is
mean,
it the
we kind of
worst?
unfairly did the Billy the Kid bracket because a lot of us hadn't seen some of those movies, and now we're kind of watching them.
At some point, maybe we'll redo it with more guests and stuff. But I don't know. I don't think it'll change. I mean, maybe the winner will change depending on what kind of guests we have with us. But I don't think it'll change all too much. Now, granted, there might be more movies out by the time we do it, so it could change for sure.
True, could be a bigger bracket, or we could have separate brackets because there's
We're gonna have
obviously some cryptid, a bunch of cryptid and Billy the Kid, so we can have that in their own bracket.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bracket of just Billy the Kid and Dracula or vampire movies, I should say.
I mean, isn't there like a zombie one too?
I don't know. I know there's at least one other Billy the Kid vampire movie.
Oh, there's like a total of three.
Yeah, that we know of. Granted, we only knew of one, and then when we did our deep dive, that's when I discovered two. And then I think it was John found the third one, or he mentioned it in our bracket or something, and I was like, yeah, there's just a whole subgenre. I don't know why this is a thing, but I get it in the 50s, I guess. It's kind of the thing to put monsters. There's another one we'll probably cover at some point. It's Jesse James and Frankenstein's daughter. So that'll be an interesting one, I suppose, as well. I don't know. The cinematography, maybe we'll go there next. Parts, I mean, honestly, considering it probably wasn't very high budget, it wasn't bad. Trying to compare it more to like Spider-Man Lotus, which was a fan film, so also didn't have a ton of money, versus like us comparing it to like a Hollywood movie that has a ton of money. So I'm trying to look at it that way. And yeah, it didn't look bad. There's definitely some beautiful desert scenes, and that's mainly where the movie takes place is in the desert. We do get the town in the beginning and in the finale, and a cabin kind of sparsely populated throughout. There's a kind of side story with one of the vampires.
Vampiresses.
Yeah, yeah, there was that. And to be fair, I totally didn't know who that was. Like for some reason, I was just like, why is this story even in here? And then when he found the blood in her bag, I was like, oh, she must have been one of the vampires at the beginning, and I just like completely like blanked it for some reason.
Those transitions definitely threw me off there for a second because, like, I don't know, it almost kind of felt like a Tarantino like vibe, where it's like she's just remember, like Billy was remembering her past, but is like showing up at this random cabin. As I was watching it, I was just like, well, that doesn't really look like the main actress. And then I kind of put the pieces together, and I was just like, because she was talking about the mine, and I know the vampires had to be like a man, or they had to have like a man at the mine that led them to it or something. So then it kind of like clicked for me, and I was just like, oh no, it's that one. It was the one vampire that didn't want a vampire life, essentially. The other one, not the crazy one.
Which one, the other lady one?
The dark haired.
Yeah, the one that is like a sniper vampire. I did like how. So spoilers, because we're gonna talk about it. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled, you can watch it on Amazon and YouTube. That's about all I know of. It's really kind of hard to find. To be fair, when we told people about it, I actually had to send the trailer to them because they were unable to find it themselves. So it's not the easiest one to find. So we'll try to help you in the description below. But we're going to talk spoilers now. So just be warned. If you're still on here, that's what we're doing. We're talking spoilers. James is one of the vampires, kind of like the lead, and he infiltrates the like posse But I love how his plan is just like, because he had sucked the blood out of, what is his name, Gus.
I
And
think.
yeah, and then his plan was like he made like all these shots with Gus's gun, and then they're like, it was clearly you, and he's like, how did you know?
Well, there was only like one shot fired. Like, I don't
Yeah,
really know what his plan was. Like,
it's
his character was just so. It was like Dracula and the other one. Like, it was like painfully obvious.
that he
But
was the
like,
vampire.
yeah, it was just obvious that he was the vampire. But like, it was just like nobody like got it besides like apparently Billy.
It took a while for that one as well. I would say it was.
And knew, but like she was just seeing how it was gonna play out. But once like because being an outlaw, she wouldn't really care if the lawman died at all. So it was just mainly like in my point of view, it was basically she was just like, yeah, whatever. They were gonna die on this, and like if he comes after me, then I'll like do something, in which he tried to do. So then things unfolded.
Yeah, no, I actually I thought his character wasn't bad, and we'll get into it in acting, but I think he was probably my favorite character in the whole movie. Just his plan was really wonky.
He didn't really. I don't know what his plan was.
Yeah, because was he still working with the lady? Is like because they were all trying to get there separately, because only one could like have the power.
I thought their tactic was like to try and. I don't know. I don't know what their plan was.
Right.
It was by far the weirdest, like, kind of plot on like their part because it seemed like they were working together. Besides the one, like the two were working together, but the one kind of went off on her own.
Yeah, and she was having like blood withdrawals and stuff.
I mean, they all kind of were.
Yeah, but
Besides the
her,
lead one, who was just like taking out the
he
people
took
he was
out.
riding with, and like nobody notices
Yeah,
that
how
like
did
one of
they
them
not
is
notice?
missing. Like
Yeah,
it was just weird. It was just like I don't know why he thought this was a good idea and how he's just getting away with it.
right. Yeah, no, I was wondering that too because it was after he killed the couple on the stagecoach, which for some reason he didn't drink the blood of the actual drivers. He just drank the blood out of the passengers. But then Gus stumbled upon him and he was like, are you leaving? And he's like, no, we're just, it's fine. And then he killed Gus. And I'm like, you didn't have to do that. Like, but yeah, you're right. No one noticed because I was like, you guys are just riding away and like not worried that one of your guys is just not there with you.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing ever. It was just like, okay, this doesn't make sense, but we'll go with it. Maybe they have a plan for this.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, a lot of the movie, like I said, takes place in the desert and not a lot's going on. Like they're all heading towards like the mine and there's more
Well,
real
they're not
character.
really. I don't know what they're doing,
I was
honestly.
gonna say, yeah, there's more
Because
character building with the one that like left the vampire life.
yeah, because you don't really see the one that wanted or was like trying to like make the orders happen, like the one that gets shot by Billy.
Yeah, the black haired one.
Yeah, there's not much like character development with her. It was mainly the chick that went away because the other dude just wasn't really any character development with him.
No, but I liked. I thought he was the best actor out of the entire movie.
I mean, he was definitely decent.
Yeah,
I don't know who I
not.
would say was the best actor in it, but like he wasn't bad.
No, I mean he's not gonna win an Oscar for the performance. But if there was an actor coming out of this, then I'm like I could see them doing more films and maybe getting there one day. Probably him. I don't know the what. I mean, so the one lady who is trying to escape the vampire life or whatever. Maybe she was trying to be a vampire. We're not 100% sure because I don't think the
Well,
movie
I think they wanted to like. I think hers like she was
was she gonna like transform the dude into a vampire.
possibly eventually that might have been her goal, but I don't think she was going to be as selfish as like that one dude was because like he took out the main guy.
Yeah, he took out
to become the
Nosferatu.
main guy, whereas I think she would have just like gotten the like higher rank and then just like left him be. She would have been like she was the nicest of the three.
If you didn't know,
The more put together of the three.
yeah, if you had, accidentally walked away in the beginning of the movie, you wouldn't even know she was a vampire outside of
Right.
like the blood. But yeah, no, she winds up at this cabin and this dude is like just okay with it. Like he's just like, all right. And he has like the nicest dog. Like he just like lets out of the house and we never see it again. It was like the last time we saw the dog.
That is true.
He was,
I didn't even think about that. The dog. It was
yeah,
just like, I'll let it be its own thing. I mean, which some owners are that way. We let ours out and he sticks around, but like we don't let him out like that.
you're not just
It's
like
more
you're
controlled
free.
ish.
Yeah, I don't think we see the dog again because then they go down to like the water. And he's like teaching her to how to pan for gold or whatever.
I think
And
that was before they let
was
the dog or the dog was let out. Oh no, that was like the same. That was like the same day.
yeah, I don't know the time frame on this movie. It might be like 3 days.
Yeah, there's like 2 nights, so it's like a day. Well, there's technically 3 nights, but like when they're on the road, it's 2 nights because
Yeah,
it's the
it's
night that they stay in jail, and
and
then
then the
it's the first
third
night out,
with the
which
stagecoach
which is a stagecoach, and then it's the second night.
with the grand finale. So like four
Well, it's the
four
third night because I think that third night or like fourth night essentially of like the whole movie was when they had like the fight scene.
yeah, which was I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, really, not a lot happens in the movie. When we talked Tammy and the T Rex, there was so much, so there was so much we could talk about. This is complete opposite of that. It's pretty straightforward. Like, really, they're just wandering the desert, looking for the bad guy, and the bad guy has infiltrated the group and is leading them. But at
The
the end,
lead
yeah,
vampire obviously watched Lord of the Rings because he
he's
went
a
with the
fan of
same
walking.
name as Frodo Baggins in the first episode, Underhill. I
Yeah,
heard that and I was just like, okay. I trailed off to Lord of the Rings at that point.
yeah, and then Billy kills the wounds the black haired vampire. I don't even know her name. And then the sheriff like kills her or shoots her because she's like dying and she looks like she's dying on the ground. And then she's like, but wait, there's more. And I'm like, I laughed. I did laugh at that part because I was like, that is so cheesy.
I
Like,
mean, it's
clearly,
easy, but it's kind of true. I mean, because they wouldn't just like die from bullets. Otherwise, that main vampire guy would have been dead as well.
no, but
Technically,
it was just how the lines were delivered and how cheesy it was because
yeah.
she's like but wait, actually, I'm like fully awake again, and I'm just like, most of the gang's killed either by James, the main vampire,
I would say
or
second. The main vampire is the one lady.
in the movie, though, for us, he's like the main bad guy. He's the one really doing everything.
Yeah.
The black haired lady does shoot one of the guys like in the leg, and then
Yeah,
he
which I don't
dies
know why he dies from that.
instantly too.
Instant. It was like kind of slowed, but like it was still like, wait, he's dead from that.
I know. I thought the sheriff was like gonna pull him back, and at some point he was gonna die because the vampire was gonna get him. But I didn't expect him to be like. I was like, "What? You died from one shot
Unless
to
he
the
got like
leg?"
hit again and we just kind of missed it.
Or
Because there
they
was another
edited it
shot
out?
that was kind of close, and I wonder if it like actually hit him.
Maybe. I just thought it was really odd how one shot in the leg of all. It wasn't like he got hit in the chest; it was the leg,
Right.
and he died. And the sheriff was like, "No, Billy." He didn't say Billy. That's from Spider Man. My bad. I'm trying to think. Gus, or yeah, Gus gets killed by that main vampire because he's like for some reason too, like he almost got away, and instead of just like shooting to alert like the others something was going on, he just didn't shoot and let him like kill him.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I'm trying to think, the other guy who's like the deputy gets killed by the main vampire again, James, because they like handcuff him and then it cuts back and he's just like has him by the throat.
I don't know if that's the deputy. I don't know
It was
what
something, yeah.
what his role was because I think the dude that got shot in the leg was actually the deputy.
Uh, I do like how they transform and they're just like normal people, and then like camera looks back and they have like fangs, and their
Mm.
eyes look different.
Their fangs are interesting because they have like a double fang,
Yeah, he
not like
definitely
the
had a
normal
weird
single.
one after he became the like head vampire or whatever after he killed
No, he had
Nosferatu.
that before. Like it
No,
was
but
definitely like a
they looked
smaller one.
bigger,
I don't think.
and he had giant like claws. He was like Freddy Krueger at the end,
I mean, they kind of all had the claws from the beginning.
but not like that. Like he got the main. So what they're doing, they're trying to get to this. The vampires are trying to get to this abandoned mine where their like leader Dracul, obviously supposed to be Dracula, right? Is held up, and they got to bring a human sacrifice. So James kills his like other vampire, the one that was trying to get away, and like takes the guy hostage that she's been like hanging out with, who's just like not a very good actor. Like he might be able to like narrate good because he had a decent like narrating or radio voice, but his acting skills were just, at least in this movie, he might get better. Could be his first movie. We don't want to judge him too harsh, but they take him in, and I was like, it was kind of dark, so you couldn't really see the main vampire, and then all of a sudden you kind of caught a glimpse. I'm like, man, they're trying to make him look like Nosferatu, and then it was just like a Halloween Nosferatu mask, and he's like, I am the lead, and he had like sharp claws, and then Billy and the sheriff were there, watched the one helpless guy get killed by the main vampire or the Dracul,
No,
not
they
James.
kind of show up when James is in like the main or the lead vampire's like clutches.
We're giving too much logic, I think, to the movie. But
Yeah, it
James is just like,
was a good movie. I don't know.
he was like, "You're not the lead," and just like stabs him in the stomach. And he's like,
Mhm.
"I'm the lead vampire now." And then he just like CGI flies out of the mine. He's just right back to town. He doesn't kill Kansas, who's just hung out back there because he's old and didn't want to go. Probably is why he survives the movie.
But died on the road.
Hmm.
It probably would have been the first one the vampire got.
Right in the lake. Kansas dead. Uh, yeah, and so this leads to the big showdown in the town, and it's at nighttime. James has all these like powers, so he's super fast, kind of like in Twilight.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like all vampire movies. Like even in Underworld, like they had like quick speed.
No, it's just how they filmed it remind me of Twilight. Granted, we don't get the fun running through the forest scene like in Twilight, which looks so bad. It is so bad. Even for 2008, it was bad. Um,
I watched it one time, and that was like at school, and like I really wasn't paying attention to it.
right. Well, then, yeah, so James wants to have a duel with Billy, but just keeps coming back and scratching the arm. And the first three scratches, there was no blood. And luckily, the fourth one, like blood showed up everywhere. So I was like, okay, at least they added blood. Because I was like, man, you can't just be scratching with no blood. Like the nails were like that long. You can't just with no blood. And the sheriff does kind of help distract James by shooting James a couple times, and Billy using the necklace from her fallen father, which she melted down into a silver bullet, much like a werewolf.
Yeah, that's
Shot.
what I was confused by. I was just like, wait, silver's for lichens, but
Are we
all
talking?
right.
Are we talking? I was like, man, makes me want to watch American Werewolf in London. We'll watch that someday. And Underworld, we might as well. It's better than this.
Underworld is like, as far as a vampire movie goes, like Underworld is up
Pretty
there
good.
with like Blade, I think.
Yeah,
Even though a lot
Blade's
of people don't like Blade,
no
I thought
people
Blade
like
was
Blade.
awesome.
It's the third one people don't like.
One with Dracula,
I don't remember that one.
Blade Trinity, I think is what it was
Yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
third one.
that's the one with Dracula. I
Yeah,
thought
people
that
don't
one
like.
was really cool.
That's the one. The first two that people like, and it did really well. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's when like all the vampires had like that like detachable jaw.
yeah. No, they Billy ends up killing James, and to be fair, I thought it was gonna be like a fake out, like James didn't die, but James died. But
Yeah,
the
silver
one
bullet.
dude, he was there at the end. Was it the same guy?
Which,
What guy was in the bar? Because it cuts to like
oh,
in the saloon, and
I'm
like
sure it looked like one of like
the one that died, like when it turned around and James had him by the neck, is who I thought that was.
it was either him or one of the other ones. Like I couldn't tell, but like it's set up for like a second movie, which I'm pretty excited about if they pulled.
If they ever do it, yeah. Being that it was 2022, it's 2 years ago, so they might. There's it's not like it was super old. We're not watching it from the 80s, which has movies that set up things that never happened. So yeah, that was kind of it. I will say the costume design, and I get it was limited budget, but man, the outfits I don't know what time this was supposed to be taking place. You think it's supposed to be taking place when the real Billy the Kid was around, so the late 1870s, early 1880s. At the same time, there's like a Butch Cassidy wanted poster, so I have to put it closer to the 1890s. And the shirts were clearly 2022 shirts they bought out of like Murdoch's. Like, no way were those outfits. Like, and then one had like a normal hairband, and I was like, the hell is this? Like, all right. I see you went to Party City and bought like the bride dress, but like, come on, put a little effort into it. Like, there's so many shops that you can go to and get like maybe it's a tad more expensive, but just get more authentic looking clothes. Like, none of them were dirty.
Oh, yeah, they were like pristinely clean.
Yeah, like 3 days they're laying in the dirt, and like they get up and they're just like clean and like I was like, come on. You
Right.
complain about this in like well-made westerns, so I'm not gonna let it slip here. No, it's not the worst thing we've ever watched. Luckily, we've watched Chad Kalick's filmography, so definitely better than that. Some of the 99% of those. Maybe one's better. I don't know. What about the music? I didn't really hear a ton of music. Every once in a while,
No,
you hear like somewhat of a score
they kind of stuck more to the time.
outside of the close.
True.
Yeah, man. Every
It was
time,
like they weren't like super bad, but like they were like pristinely clean.
well, they were also like clearly 2022 Murdoch shirts. Were like Walmart shirts. Like they were like just they found plaid shirts and they're like, that's probably good.
I don't know. I didn't see any issue with the shirts, but then again, I don't really watch westerns and watch their outfits. I'm more like paying attention to what's happening and what's going on in the background.
It's not something I always watch. It's just like they were very clearly not from that time. It made Dracula and Billy the Kid versus Dracula fit in better than these t-shirts. He was closer to their time than these t-shirts were. Yeah, no. I mean, as far as acting, it kind of is what it is. It's not the worst acting we've ever seen. It's not the best. I personally, my favorite was James. Sam, who was your favorite in this one? Or who did you think gave the best performance?
The one, the girl vampire that was like the side story, did really well. James was all
Okay.
right, but there
Yeah,
was
I mean,
moments that I was just like, eh.
well, that's kind of what I thought with the Olivia who played Billy. Like at the beginning, I was like, it's not bad, but then there was parts I was like, that's the take you went with. Like you couldn't just like like it wasn't terrible. Like We've definitely seen
Was
some.
actually pretty decent too. Like she would be like my second, probably tied with James.
So yeah, I
Just for
put
me.
yeah for me maybe second. Yeah, second or third. She wasn't bad. Uh, especially like I really don't know how many other movies these people have acted in. So like plus it's not like a huge budgeted movie. We're not like trying to like it's not going to be Citizen Kane or something. All right, so Olivia's acted in one other movie. Also came out in 2022. Let's see, Gus. Oh, Gus has been in 14 different things. Veronica played Alira, who was the vampire. Was only other in Cassidy Red. I don't know what that is.
A lot of
Um,
them, it was just their like second one, so like they did pretty decent for them being only in two.
oh, here we go. I found James Zion Monroe. He has been in four. He was in two episodes of Scott Dell most recently last year. They were all in a movie called Dog Boy. The majority of the cast from here was in that one. So yeah, we're gonna have to watch that just to find out. We're going down a rabbit hole. This is what happens. We watch one movie.
Yo,
Let's see. Sheriff Jack Barton. How many movies has he been in? His name's Frank Prell. Previously 17 movies or TV episodes. Cassidy, I think, was the other vampire. The black haired vampire has been in eight. A lot of them have only most recently been in this movie. So let's see. Brandon was the guy that lived in the cabin, has only been in this one. So kind of like I thought. But now, yeah, now we got to watch Dog Boy because there's quite a bit of
just
like,
sounds bad.
I don't know what it is about, but
So, it just sounds bad. It sounds like a children's movie, not gonna lie.
that kind of brings us because there's not a whole lot else to talk about, but you guys kind of see we have another one planned at some point. We'll be doing Dog Boy. Rating and recommendation. Sam, I'm going to let you go first because I'm actually not sure what I'm going to give this one. So, Sam.
I'll give it a 7.5. I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. I mean, there's points that were like cheesy and silly, but you can find that in any movie, even in Hollywood movies. There's moments where like you're just like, eh. I mean, there is a little bit more than some Hollywood movies, but it was still really, it was still fine. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible.
What will I give it? So, I don't think it's better than Billy the Kid versus Dracula. I don't remember what I gave that one. I know it's not better than Tammy
And
and
you
the
give
T
everything
Rex.
low rating, so does it really matter?
It does. It's not better than Tammy and the T Rex. For sure. That one I enjoy. It's not a good movie either, but it's enjoyable. And honestly, I don't know if it's better than Spider-Man Lotus. Like, to be fair.
I mean, it's way better than Spider-Man Lotus for me, but that's just because that's a superhero movie. Not a fan of
I don't,
those. And it wasn't super childish like that movie was.
what? That movie wasn't childish. It was just bad.
Well, didn't have a temper tantrum teenager in it.
No, but this it had. See, with that one, the acting was a little bit better,
Really? I
and
thought
the graphics were a little bit better. I don't. I see. The problem is I don't remember what I gave Billy the Kid versus Dracula.
that one I think it was like a 6 or a 5.
Yeah, it's
You might
probably
even
like
give it like a 4 or a 3. I don't even remember.
yeah. So that's where for now this one could change. So right now we'll give it a four, the same rating I gave Spider-Man Lotus. I think it's about on par with that movie. As far as acting and filming, there's definitely parts that much honestly I would rank it a little bit lower in the forest than Spider-Man Lotus. just because there was a lot more of this movie that I did check the time. So, but compared to Chad Kalick's movie, it's better. So it's got that going for it.
I'm
It wasn't like as bad as like American Ghost Hunter or Phantom Rider, where I was just like, please let it, because there were some decent parts in this. It wasn't completely terrible. Um, I think a four is pretty solid. We'll see. It's not the worst thing I've ever watched, but
I didn't check the time. I did that for Django more than I did this one. And there's nothing against Django. Like, it was definitely a good movie. I was definitely checking the time during that movie, and I definitely disassociated from that movie a couple times and was just doing something else on my phone. Not
yeah,
gonna lie.
yeah. No, this one I think it was like we. It was like 5 or 10 minutes went by, and I was like, okay. And I checked, and I was like, it's only been 20 minutes. I have an hour. And then it was like, I have like 50 minutes. And then I was like, 45 minutes and then 30. And I was just like, and then like certain scenes would come and it get better, but it was just like, and like Grayson says, we can't just let good enough be good enough. We got to tell people what we want so we can get better. All right, guys. So that's our review of Billy the Kid or Billy the Kid Vampires of the West because I've seen it listed as both. So I don't know which one will be easier for you guys to locate it with. Just remember, Billy is spelled Billie instead of Billy, Billy. So remember, IE at the end. And it came out in 2022. So if you're trying to look for it, that's how you're going to find it. But until next time, guys, more Cool's reviews to your left, more about us here at Cool's Paranormal to your right. And don't forget to hit your like and give us a subscribe.
Subscribe. Switch that notification bell from personalized to all if you want to be notified on all of our upcoming videos.
And let us know if you've watched this movie. What were your thoughts? And is there another kind of fun, kooky movie like Tammy the T Rex that we should talk about? Tell us in the comments below.